I never thought something like this could happen to me. I'd always been careful, the kind of person who locks doors twice, checks windows, avoids shortcuts at night. But nothing could have prepared me for the nightmare that began one Friday evening just after work. I live alone in a small apartment in the city. The neighborhood isn't exactly dangerous, mostly families, the occasional party upstairs, but lately there had been whispers of break-ins, petty thefts, and people disappearing for a day or two. I shrugged them off. People always exaggerated. That evening, I returned home later than usual. The sun had set and the streets were slick with rain. My apartment building was quiet, unnervingly so. I fumbled for my keys, but before I could even unlock the door, I noticed it. The door was slightly ajar. My chest tightened. I've never been one to panic, but a cold sweat ran down my spine as I pushed the door open. Everything looked normal at first. Nothing seemed out of place. But then I noticed my apartment smelled off. Faint, metallic, like blood, but not enough to be obvious. I stepped inside, my phone clutched tightly in my hand, ready to call 911 at the first sign of trouble. "Hello?" I called, my voice sounding weak even to myself. No answer. Just the hum of the refrigerator and the faint sound of rain against the windows. I moved cautiously to the living room. Papers were scattered on the floor, my bookshelves looked untouched, but the feeling of being watched pressed down on me. That's when I saw it. A message written on the wall in what looked like red paint, but my gut told me it was something else. Something more sinister. "You shouldn't be here alone." My stomach dropped. I took a step back, almost tripping over a loose rug. My fingers trembled as I dialed the police. 911, what's your emergency? I tried to keep my voice steady. Someone's in my apartment. I think they're still here. There's a message on my wall. The dispatcher asked the usual questions. My address, what the intruder looked like, whether I was hurt. I told them I hadn't seen anyone, but I was sure someone had been here. They promised to send someone immediately. I was told to stay put, lock myself in a room if possible. I hung up and retreated to my bedroom, locking the door behind me. Minutes passed like hours. Every creak, every whisper of movement outside my door made my heart pound faster. Then came the sound that made me realize, whatever was happening, it was far from ordinary. Someone, or something, was moving around my apartment, lightly, carefully, like a predator. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Why are you hiding? We just want to play." I froze. My apartment had no one I knew who would text me. I wanted to scream, to call the police again, but my voice caught in my throat. The 911 dispatcher had assured me help was on the way, but with each passing minute, that promise felt like a cruel joke. Then I heard it, a soft tapping at the window. My bedroom faces the street and the street lights were dim, but I could just make out a shadow moving outside. Not a person. Too tall, too thin, and the way it moved, jerky, unnatural. I called again. No answer. Just the line ringing over and over. My mind raced. What if they can't get here in time? What if they can't help me at all? I remembered the building has a fire escape. I didn't think, I just moved. Sliding the window open, I could feel the cold rain splatter on my face. I clambered out, feet slipping on the metal stairs. Below, the street was empty. I ran, soaked, shivering, desperate to find someone, anyone. The police arrived 15 minutes later. I found them at the bottom of the street, talking to each other while I panted, trying to explain what happened. They nodded, took notes, and asked me questions again. But the moment I described the shadow, the message, the tapping, I noticed their faces stiffen. "I see," one of them said, avoiding eye contact. "Well, we'll patrol the area. Try not to go back inside tonight." That's it. No urgency, no reassurance. Just a vague promise to patrol the area. I asked, "You saw it too? The shadow?" The officer shook his head. "We didn't see anything. Sometimes fear makes people imagine things. You did the right thing calling us." Right thing? I barely slept that night. Every sound, every car passing by made me jump. And then, when I finally drifted into a fitful sleep, I heard it again. A soft, deliberate knock at my apartment door. The police hadn't come back. They wouldn't come back. I live in a city full of rules and safety measures, and yet I realized something terrifying. Some things are beyond them. Beyond all of us. The next day, I stayed with a friend, calling in sick to work, avoiding my apartment like it was a crime scene. But even then, I felt watched. Over the following weeks, I received more messages. Phone calls with heavy breathing. Notes slipped under the door. Nothing physically threatening, at least not yet, but the psychological torment was relentless. And every time I tried to escalate it to the police, I got the same response. "There's not much we can do without evidence." You learn a lot about people when you're being hunted, and the ones meant to protect you shrug. Fear makes you resourceful. I installed cameras, changed locks, moved lights. I avoided anyone seeing me alone. Yet the intrusions continued. Every move I made was catalogued, every moment of privacy violated. And still the police couldn't, or wouldn't, help. It was during one of those nights, sitting on the couch with all the lights on, that I finally saw it clearly. Not through a window, not in a shadow, but in the reflection of my TV screen. A figure standing at the far end of my living room. Tall, thin, impossibly still. Watching. Waiting. I called 911 one more time, but I didn't even bother explaining. I just whispered, "Please, help me." And I realized something that made my blood run cold. They couldn't. Some things don't fall under jurisdiction. Some horrors don't get a response team. Some predators don't leave fingerprints or evidence, and the law cannot touch them. That night, I left the apartment. Permanently. I packed what I could carry and never looked back. But the fear didn't end. Every apartment I move into, every hotel room, I glance at the corners, at the shadows. I don't know if it follows me, if it's bound to my address, or if it's something that can track a person across the city. The worst part isn't the fear. It's the realization that the system meant to protect you is fallible. That sometimes when your life is on the line, the people who are supposed to help simply can't. I don't talk about it much. Friends think I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. The messages, the shadows, the sense of being hunted, it's all real. And I have learned one immutable truth. When the police can't help, all you have is yourself. And maybe that isn't enough. Even now, years later, I jump at shadows. I double-check locks multiple times before bed. And sometimes, when the city is quiet and I'm alone in my apartment, I swear I see it. The thin, tall figure lurking just beyond my vision, reminding me that it never forgets. That it's still out there. Watching. Waiting. And the police? They will never come. If this story taught us anything, it's that sometimes the real horror isn't monsters or ghosts. It's knowing that there are dangers out there that no one can stop for you. Always trust your instincts, stay aware, and never assume you're truly safe. Do not forget to subscribe to Do of Dread for more creepy and scary stories.